The main thing that motivates me is I've seen the agony and pain that families go through when they lose a loved one before his or her time. I've seen small children crying at the bedside of their dying mother who's dying of breast cancer or uterine cancer. I've seen families heartbroken and suffering because they've lost their father, in his 40s or 50s. And much of that pain could have been avoided and prevented. And I don't want people to have to keep going through that. I want to try and prevent as much of that as I can. I've also seen the joy that comes when people who've been sick and near hopeless get their lives back. I'll tell you about one patient I had. She was a woman who, when I started to see her in my clinic, she was in her early 60s. She had been diagnosed with diabetes for 17 years. Kathy was on large doses of insulin twice a day, morning and evening, plus oral pills. And despite that, her average blood sugar measurement was 200 to 300. She had blockages in her legs so bad that she couldn't walk a block without severe pain. She told me that when she would get up in the morning, she would have to sit on the side of her bed just to let her sort of mind and vision clear. She had severe heart disease, for which she was being followed at the National Institutes of Health. And her diabetes was getting worse, and she was starting to get despondent. Excuse me.
No worries, man. It's totally fine.
So anyway, when she came to see me, I started talking to her about her diet. And she listened, and she went vegan. I mean, she cut out everything: dairy, eggs.
This is it. It's real, this stuff, right?
I'm not sure I want you to put this on.
You want me to turn camera?
I don't know. I know it's real, but it's, anyway, within a period of 6 weeks, I ended up having to take her off all of her diabetes medicines. She ended up coming off of 2 out of 3 blood pressure medicines. She lost 64 pounds without even trying. And the doctors at NIH did an MRI scan of her heart and told her that she was actually growing new blood vessels into her heart. She started exercising again. She could walk a mile without any problem. She went back to work. She got her life back. You can't put that into words. To see someone who felt like they were dying get their life back, and what that means to them. And that's just one story. I mean, there was another gentleman I met his wife basically brought him to a vegan event up in upstate New York, and he also had really bad diabetes. He had been to doctor after doctor, and he was having a very difficult, nobody seemed to be able to control his diabetes. No matter what medicines they put him on, he was continuing to have complications. And his wife, who was vegan, he wasn't. She came to me and she was near tears, and she said, he's starting to get discouraged because he had always been strong man. He had always been the breadwinner, and now he's sick all the time, and nobody seems to be able to help him get healthy, and he's starting to lose hope. And I sat down and I talked with him, and I told him, I said, look, I said, I think we can get a handle on this, but I said, but you have to go completely vegan. I said, you can't cut back, you can't do a little bit, you have to go wholehearted, just the whole 9 yards. And I said, I just want you to do this for 12 weeks. And if it doesn't work, you can go back to doing what you were doing. I said, but I guarantee you, you're going to feel so much better. You're going to want to continue it.
If he complies 100%.
100%. He said he would. About 6 weeks later, his wife sent me this email telling me how grateful she was because of how well he was doing. And that he was the man that she knew before. That he was able to work again, that he was feeling healthy again, that he was committed to staying with the vegan diet. And I mean, of course, she was thanking me, which I don't take credit for this, but it was just, again, just an amazing thing to see people getting their lives back, when they were thinking that things were over for them. So, like I said, that's what motivates me, because I know the power of plant-based eating. I know what it can do for people, and I want people to not only avoid the pain and heartache of unnecessary loss, but I want them to have the joy of being healthy and of realizing that they can live full lives and that they don't have to be sick and they don't have to be in pain and they don't have to hurt, but they can be happy and healthy.